beautiful people? It's Dr. Chanda, and I'm so excited to be here with you yet another week. I'm so proud of you for making it to another Wednesday. Listen, you're listening to Paging Dr. Chanda, and it is here where we have self-reflection, or we encourage self-reflection through meaningful conversation to help you to live a healthy and whole life. I'm Dr. Chanda, and today's episode is like a survival guide for the holidays, with a little sprinkle of therapy, a dash of wisdom, and lots of laughter with my girl, Dr. Spirit. So, we all know the holidays are like a mixed bag of emotions, okay? It's the season of joy, love, and quality time with family. Or, the season of testing your patience with that one cousin who always brings up that embarrassing story from your childhood at the family dinner. And also, don't let that one cousin be like Cousin Faith from Soul Food, because then we might have to throw hands. Don't act like y'all never had to go there with any of your family. Okay, all right. I'll move on. We're going to act like that wasn't you. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about our survival guide for surviving holiday dinners with difficult family. So what I need you to do, whether you're listening on your way to your morning commute or you're with your family members, I want you to share this show with as many people as possible, because we all know that we all have those aunties who want to ask you too many questions about who you're dating, when you're going to have those babies, or anything else that they can ask to get up in your business. You have those uncles who always asking, where my hug at? You have those family friends who always in your business, and it's important for us to know how to set boundaries with those people, because the holiday season should be a time where we're able to feel the emotions that we want to feel, like joy, peace, and holiday cheer. And guess what, y'all? I've got a fabulous guest joining us today. She's not just a therapist, but she's a spirit whisperer, a family harmony master, and all around holiday superhero is what I call her. So we're going to welcome Dr. Spirit, the international therapist herself. I had the pleasure of hanging out with Dr. Spirit a bit while she was in DC at an event with Miss Taraji P. Henson. So it was so dope. So today's episode is going to be full of a wealth of knowledge. You've seen her everywhere, from the Steve Harvey Morning Show to Ricky Smiley to Dr. Phil. So many places that you've seen Dr. Spirit, and she is gracing us with her wisdom today. So before we get into today's show, what I need you to do is I need you to rate the podcast wherever you're listening. So if you're listening on Revolt or any audio platforms, I need you to leave your girl a 5 out of 5 star review. And leave a comment while you at it, just to add a little razzle dazzle. Also, if you're listening to YouTube, I need you to subscribe to my personal YouTube channel at Paging Dr. Chanda, and we will be sure to continue to let you know and to notify you every single time we go live. I'm excited to get into this episode, so make sure that you guys are liking, rating, subscribing, and sharing while the intro plays. You are now listening to the Paging Dr. Chanda podcast, where we talk all things related to mental health, life lessons, and the culture. My goal is to help each and every listener pursue and center wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Chanda, licensed clinical psychologist. Now let's get into it. Have y'all checked out my Amazon storefront yet? Listen, whether you're searching for last-minute date night outfits, perfecting your 4C curls, or delving into mental health books or enhancing your nail game, I've got you covered. Y'all know here at the Dr. Chanda podcast, we like to serve looks and books. So make sure that you guys click on my affiliate link for a hassle-free shopping experience that supports my creation efforts. Elevate your lifestyle and your mental health today. Chanel, I have a question.
What's up?
Have you ever felt lonely in your entrepreneurial ventures and journey?
Listen, that is such a real feeling, especially as a Black woman, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as a kingdom woman trying to level up and move forward in my life.
Listen, the interesting thing is I hear that from so many different women.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the perfect timing for us to collaborate our entrepreneurial success and the things that we've learned along the way for kingdom women specifically.
Listen, I'm so excited about this.
So that's right. You guys are able to sign up today, starting in October, our specific membership group, where you'll have access to our knowledge on branding, marketing, how to sell, how to pitch yourself, how to,
apply the Bible to your business,
applying the Bible to your business, corporate fast, like all of those things.
Exercise your faith, so many different things.
And above all, Chanel, it's great to have an accountability group.
Listen, I'm really excited to be a part of a group of a bunch of people that look like me, and we're all trying to get to the same place.
And listen, and the fact that we're coming together doing it, I say this humbly, I've been thriving in full-time entrepreneurship for some years now.
Yeah.
You've generated millions for the sports industry.
Yes.
We have so many different skill sets that we're going to offer.
Yeah, we're two separate powerhouses and we're coming together to build this membership for you all.
Not only from a business and physical, natural standpoint, but also a spiritual standpoint.
Yes.
I can't wait to get into the word
I'm excited.
entrepreneurship.
I'm excited.
The word and entrepreneurship together, Chanel.
Listen.
In a membership group.
Listen.
Girl. I'm ready. So if you guys are ready for our group that starts in October, please make sure that you click the link in our show notes, and we can't wait to see y'all.
Cannot wait.
Period. Dr. Spirit, how are you?
What's good, girl? What's good? Okay, wait. So do we have to do the doctor thing? And should I call you Dr. Chanda? Like
whatever you want to call me.
Look, sis, because,
right, sis.
Unless I'm in like the research room or something really technical, but this is just us having some good conversation today.
Okay. And I do believe in titles. So I know I met you through Auntie Shanti. So I call her Auntie. So do you mind if I call you Auntie Spirit?
Listen, I became Auntie apparently somewhere during COVID. And at first I was like, I ain't nobody's. And then I started to do the math and I was like, girl, you got a kid that's like 26. Let it go. And then I was like, okay, I received that. Because at first I was like, what did you?
Right.
Okay, well, you ain't call me mama or grandma, so we'll work with Auntie as long as I get to be like the cool younger, it's like your mom's little sis that always gets in trouble, and you be like, "Don't tell your mama I took you here. Don't tell her I showed you this." That's the Auntie that I am.
That's the Auntie. Okay, but
but I don't have no money, so don't ask me. Don't be like, "Yo, Auntie, can I hope?" Because I don't.
But if it makes you feel any better, they call me Auntie on TikTok. So.
Really?
Yes. I'm like, am I a part of the older generation of TikTok?
I guess it just depends on the platform, right? I mean, yes. And I will wear that with pride because I honestly, I wouldn't go back. It's hard to be when they talk about, I actually saw some data earlier this week and I was like, yep, that makes perfect sense. But they were saying like 18 to 25-year-olds, that they have double the rates of anxiety and depression as most other groups. And so I thought about where I was from 18 to 25 and I was like, you couldn't pay me to go back to that time period.
Wow.
It is too hard because you were competing with all the other adults that are twice your age, have all the network, all the money, all the education, and you out here just trying to make it work.
Right.
God bless y'all.
Yes.
Bless y'all.
Right. Those are
Stay with us. It'll get better.
Right. Exactly. So I'm here for it. And so I definitely appreciate you for coming through the podcast. Your knowledge and your expertise is just so well respected globally.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about like some of the things you've been doing and some of the impacts that you've been making?
Yeah. And you know what? I think it just comes along with the territory, right? We're talking about age. When you do this long enough, I think what it gives you is the ability to see things that perhaps other people can't see. So I never intended for it to become like a global way of looking at mental health. I was just wanting to stick with my little handful of small 10 clients and just like let that be the thing. But then after I started to look and go, oh, well, in order for these folks to be better served, we need this system to work better. Yeah. And that system is only going to work better if that system works. And so, but that system can't work because it's all interconnected. And so I went from really that local to the state, to the national, to the global. And what we're talking about really is that we are, especially now with technology and everything else, we are so interconnected that we really have to start talking about that everything begins and ends with mental health. And if we don't have the systems, the global systems focus on the mental health and wellness of the individual, it's all going to collapse on itself. Right. So to that effect, I still see clients in private practice. I still do that intergenerational trauma work, the couples work, because I am big about how one individual connects to the next. So still at that micro level doing that work. But all the way at the top, we're really talking to governments about the importance of mental health and wellness. A lot of the global initiatives now are challenging the federal systems to look at investing at least 2.5% to 5%, depending on how big their other nations are, investing 2.5% to 5% of their budgets towards mental health, their healthcare budgets. And so I am out there screaming at the top of my lungs, not just this needs to happen, but all right, let's bring everybody to the table. How can we make this happen? Right? Because if you have people do things against their will, one, it's never going to work. And two, even if you can coerce them or get them to for a limited amount of time, as soon as they can, they're looking at reverting right back to the old way. So it is, how do you get people to see that this is not just in the best interest of those they serve, but also in their best interest too? So we're out there at every level screaming about the importance of mental health and how we make it better.
And you were recently, I know this year I saw some stuff about being in Africa and doing some work out there.
Yeah. We're working on 2 of our macro programs. We're working on a global mental health documentary because the World Health Organization and the United Nations have some very serious agendas around the importance of magnifying mental health messages. So from the media aspect, we really want to serve as a great media partner in that space. So we're working on a documentary to tell that story around the world. And then also we are working on a mental health repository that will give clinicians the ability to network, to train, to support each other across borders. And so to meet those agendas, we were in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, and some other parts of Ghana earlier this summer, and also in Liberia. And it was fascinating. And so as we started to have those relationships, that's where we were like, Madam Vice President, sir, can we talk to the president about mental health? And what I have found that is so amazing is people have been so receptive, and they've said at every level, whether it's been at those highest levels to even just the mom trying to find water for her and her babies all day long. And sometimes it literally takes all day long to just achieve that goal, to talk about mental health, and everybody go, yeah, I never thought of, we need to do something. Let's have that conversation. So it's incredible. And I can't wait. We're talking about Canada, Singapore, and I think the team said somewhere in South America next year. But in an ideal situation, we'll touch every nation, because every nation deserves to have their voice heard in that global conversation for sure. We don't want it to be our voice. We want to magnify the voices of the people. So, and have that voice heard across nations. So, I'm excited. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to be tapping all my therapists, ma'am, to come on some of these trips. So y'all, when you get those invitations in the mail, don't act like you don't know me, because I beg.
Look, I will hop on a flight in a heartbeat. So
I am so serious. Listen, I'm already talking to the folks in Liberia seriously about developing some long-term programs there. So, mess around. I'm going to play this back. I'm be like, she said that she would go for 6 months. She did. And she'd be like, what I said was, okay, I'm on the plane. How did Spirit do that?
I love it. Look, whatever you need, I'm 100% there.
I love it.
Yes. I just want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, girl, listen, you already are. And you don't need to be another me, because your lane is beautiful and perfect. You are doing exactly what you were supposed to be doing, exactly for the folks you are supposed to be serving. And as we spread these little tiny fires, eventually we will have a wildfire, and it will affect the world. And that is how it's supposed to be.
That's how community works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We don't, I don't want anybody to be me. I'd be like, let me give you everything I got, and you take that to figure out how to do the best you. But now I need you to give me something too, because help me. Right. Because I mean, listen, it's the young folks that keep me on. I'd be like, oh, okay. So we're not saying it's lit no more. Oh, no. Okay. So they jocked your fresh. Hold on. Let Auntie get they know. Jocked your fresh. Okay. Oh, okay, I got you. That's like it was Superfly, right? Okay, so we doing the millennial, the zennial, and now y'all. Oh, don't forget the silent generation. Okay, got us.
Well, I still say lit, so I don't know.
Girl, you might want to be careful. I don't know. You can only say that to a couple of them. They got some new stuff out here in these streets for us.
Yeah, that might be it. Anytime one of my kids who I work with, they like try to get me hip to some new slang. I'm like, I already knew that. And the whole time I'm lying. I didn't know that.
Didn't know it all. Well, see, I get a little lucky. I have 7 children, right? And so at the top, my oldest is 26, but then I have a 22, I have an 18 who's about to be 19. I have a 14, just turned 14, as a matter of fact, then 12, 7, and 5. So I figure I'm going to be in the game for a minute. I'm going to be lit, fly, jocking somebody fresh and everything in between for about 18 more years. Right. But then I will look like grandma at the graduation. I've already accepted that's what it is. Right. Because when my 5-year-old is graduating, they'll be like, oh, is your grandbaby here today? And I'm going to be like, no, I'm the mama. It is what it is.
I love it.
And I will take it all. I love every part of it.
Yes.
Every part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So as we're talking about this, and I just have so many like more questions for you, but I feel like I can just ask that when we have coffee.
I love it.
But as we're talking about like family and like being that today we're kind of like focusing on the holiday season, being that we're in this season of like people talking to their families and stuff, and going back home. Do you have any specific holiday traditions that you and your family engage in?
Listen, it's so interesting, especially you talk about this time of year. I love to say for so many people, this is the most triggering time of year for a lot of different reasons. So growing up, I'm the oldest of 3 children. My parents were really young parents. Like they had me, literally, my mom had me the day after she turned 17. So in some ways, like I literally grew up with my parents, but it was always very clear that they were the parents. Okay. Like there was never, I'm not one of your little friends.
Right.
My mama invented that. Okay. And I was always like, but my friends love you. Come to the mall. No, she wasn't doing it. So, but they were really big about tradition, but tradition was never really rooted around finances, right? So we were really big on, we knew that it was about the entire experience. My dad would literally do things like, he was the dad, I kid you not, he would dress up like Santa Claus because we was going to have us a black Santa Claus. He was not going to let Santa take credit and did not look like him. That was not happening. Right. But he loved Christmas so much, he would literally climb up on the rooftop at night on Christmas Eve to make the sounds like the reindeer and all of that. Aww. And it was just magical. We always knew no matter how hard they worked, because we were working class folks. They were always at work, but we always knew that the entire Christmas day we were going to be together. So we'd get up super early. We'd open up the presents. I don't know how they figured out, being that young, how to get us those amazing presents that they did. But it was never really about the presents. It was just that the music was on all day. The cooking was happening all day. The toys were happening, and we were just together. So like that sense of family has always been really, really big for me. I mean, hence I got 7 kids, right? So, but it's hard. It's harder to get everybody together during the holidays. But I think that tradition has stayed with me, that more than the gifts, once the gifts get undone, you'll take 7 minutes to unwrap $1 million worth of gifts. But afterwards, that collectiveness, that togetherness, like that was everything.
That's amazing. And it's so interesting how, like, even though you say your parents were young, they had like children or what have you, like they still made it work.
Yes.
Like they created those traditions and you still hold true to that.
Yes. And listen, my parents are still together to this day. And I don't know how they did any of it. I don't know how they had me. Every year on my birthday, I always say to my mom and my dad, thank you for having me. Thank you for choosing me, because I don't know at 16 if I would have made the same decision, right? So just the blessing of existence. But the idea that they always tried to figure it out. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty all the time. It was none of that, but they figured it out. And so I think, when we talk about what family means, when we talk about what it means to be around family, when we talk about holidays, you have all of those things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that come together in this really triggering way, because it's your past, present, and your future staring you in the face at a time where we're all supposed to pretend that the only thing that exists in the moment is just the good. So it's very interesting how it comes together.
So let's stay there. Because during the holidays, people are going to be around those family members who they might not get along with. The family member who shouldn't be around the family anymore, but Big Mama and them said they got to still come around.
They coming.
They coming, and we have to kind of like, sometimes we got to accept it. We have to prepare for it or set certain boundaries. Yeah.
So I'm really big, and this is hard, especially in not just Black families, but families of color, period. So whether you're First People or part of First Nations, whether you're Asian American, whether you are Hispanic or Latino, depending on how your family customs go, a lot of times there is a lot of pressure and an expectation for you to abandon your own comfort and your own need in order to fit the need of the family system. And so that's very hard because, especially as mental health professionals, we come from a very westernized training. It is a very individualized training. And so what we are taught is what is good for the individual 1000% of the time. But what our profession doesn't really do a really good job of, as much as I wish that we would, is the grapple between how unrealistic that is for many groups, because what is good for us also is community. And so there is a grapple that needs to happen with, well, my family is toxic AF, but I don't necessarily want to be away from my family, right? Yes, there is the brother who goes in and out of jail. Yes, there is the uncle that probably may have some substance issues that's going to drink till nobody's business and we don't know why, but the folks at the top know why, but the family secrets, nobody's talking about it. And this is my family, and I'm only going to be able to tolerate it for maybe 20 minutes before I'm so triggered, I got to go sit out in the car, or I got to go in the room, or a fight's going to break out, or all of these things, right? And so a lot of us will just say, so don't go. And the person will go, well, what do you mean? Like, I got to? Do you know what's going to happen if I don't? And then they get there and then they go, man, I should have just listened to my therapist. I shouldn't have come. I'm not coming next year, until next year rolls around and it's the same struggle over and over. Right. So it's a lot that's going on. And I think we have to honor that. And we have to do a better job, especially as clinicians, of helping our clients prepare for that. That sometimes it's about almost like what we use for substance abuse models, the risk reduction model, where it's like you may not necessarily go complete sobriety, i.e. you may not separate yourself from your family completely. So what are some risk reduction methods to limit harm so you can interact to the level that you need or want to, but also take care of yourself in the process?
Listen,
right? And it's a different way of thinking about risk reduction. We don't think about it within those ways, but I think that that's part of the work that we need to do as clinicians too, is challenge ourselves to take more contemporary approaches and reimagine how we see what our founding folks, and I won't even say the founding fathers, because the sisters and the mamas get left out of that, and we was in there too, right?
We were there too.
But what our founding folks gave us as a framework, it's time for us to reimagine that and not forget that we are the experts, that the work is living, breathing, and we have to live and breathe and grow with it so that our clients can live and breathe and grow and thrive beyond where we are.
When I tell y'all Dr. Spirit spoke so many truths and dropped so many gems, I figure that this should be a two-parter so that you can take some time and digest everything that she gave us today. So make sure that you tune in next Wednesday to part 2 of this episode. See y'all next week.